Good morning and welcome to First Presbyterian Church. Today we have Thomas and Julie Russell playing in two different venues. First, our sanctuary, and second, in the Ronald Miller Library, which is on the ground floor of the Palmer Building just across the street. Today is our final concert in our video recital series, at least for the summer. We are continuing to try and find ways for us to not only worship in the manner with which we are familiar, but also to think about ways in which we can continue to train our choirs and offer safe, meaningful, and edifying concerts through the pandemic. As always, we need your prayers for wisdom as we move ahead. We pray that you are well and that today's recital will be an encouragement and a blessing to you. As I mentioned, today's recital would be in two locations. We've just heard Thomas and Julie in the sanctuary playing work by Reinberger, and now we're going to hear a work by Bieber, and this performance is going to be in the Ronald Miller Library where we currently are standing. Though tucked away and out of sight on the first floor of the Palmer Building, this little room is a very special place. First, it houses Mr. Miller's extensive and comprehensive collection of organ repertoire. Mr. Russell continues to use much of Mr. Miller's repertoire, both for services and also for training of the organ scholars. You will also notice that Ron's wife, Retta, has added some framed pictures of Ron, as well as some artwork that was meaningful to him that hung in their home. The library also houses our church harpsichord, a gift given to the church by Jim Kirby in honor of his wife, Charlotte, both of whom have gone to be with the Lord. As you will hear, this is a wonderful instrument. And one other seemingly minor but meaningful contribution is this beautiful circular oriental rug that once belonged to Mrs. Sylvia Stacy, who served as the church receptionist for many years, a woman who was very dear to Holly and my family, who is now also with the Lord. In short, this room very much represents one important aspect of what we desire the music ministry to be, a ministry that honors and reveres the great tradition and skillful craft of sacred music that has been passed down from generation to generation, and one that we believe the Lord has called us to steward well and pass on to future generations. Hey, it's nice to meet both of you for the first time. Wonderful
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you both for doing this. It seems like you're having a lot of fun doing it. So, and how long have you been rehearsing?
In here?
Well, not in here, but just together for the piece.
Well, we revived it. We played it several years ago at a summer program, and then we've been reviving it for the past few weeks.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you about the instruments upon which you played this lovely music. So, Thomas, why don't you talk to us a little bit about our harpsichord friend here?
Yeah, this is the harpsichord. It's a Kingston harpsichord, and the main difference between your keyboard instruments, piano strikes the strings, organ blows air through pipes, and harpsichord plucks the strings. And it does have two keyboards, multiple keyboards like an organ, so you can get different sounds of it. You'll hear a few different sounds in the piece.
Okay. And you had a couple different settings too, right?
Yeah, so there was your standard sound, and then we had the lute stop.
Okay.
In the middle, it was a little plucky, and then the second keyboard is a little more bright.
Okay. And so what pitch were you playing?
We were at 440.
You're at 440 for this? Okay. So talk to us about your violin then, Julie, that you're playing on.
So I'm playing my Baroque violin, and the strings, Bieber wrote the piece in what's called scordatura, so the instrument is tuned in different ways for different pieces. This one, he retunes every string to make a C major chord. As we are playing, it's about the ascension of Christ into heaven, and so it's supposed to kind of give you the sense of trumpet fanfare with the chords and that constant ringing going back and forth. So, yeah.
So tell us more about the Baroque violin. What are the things that are different
Baroque violin,
from the
there's not a chin rest, and you just hold it, and then the fingerboard is much shorter. They didn't play as high. The strings are made out of sheep gut, so they're not as tight. They have a more interesting sound, especially on this piece because it's tuned differently. You get a lot of weird tension sounds where you don't normally hear them, and then the bow curves outward and is shorter than a modern bow.
Okay, and so what effect do you get then from that shape of that bow?
You get a lot more ring, I think, and it can do a lot. It's a lot bouncier than a modern bow. And in general, we don't play with vibrato or anything like that. The strings just vibrate on their own and resonate inside the body of the instrument. Okay,
and so the other piece you're playing is by Reinberger. So talk to me about that piece.
Yeah, well, Reinberger was a 19th century composer, second half of the 19th century, did most of his writing. He was German, but he drew a lot from older styles, specifically Bach, which is probably one thing we like about it because we love Bach. We also love Reinberger because he wrote things for violin and organ, which is more rare. So this is the theme and variations from his 6 pieces.
Okay. And you've played some pieces by him, I think, together before.
We've played the Pastoral, I believe, in church at one point, and we're working up the entire piece, and so we'll get all 6 ready.
Okay. Well, thank you both again so much for doing this.
Yeah. It's fun.
Again, nice to meet you. Really wonderful to have you here. And
pleasure's all ours.
Yeah, we'll look forward to hearing you maybe do this in the sanctuary sometime soon. Sure. Do a concert.
That'd be great.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Thank you.